birthday. This is Noreen Makosewe on your timeline, yet again with another reminder about time. For those of you who've been connected with me for a number of years, or even maybe recently, you notice that I speak about time a lot. And that's because for me, time holds a lot of meaning. I have personal stories. I've been part of other people's stories that constantly remind me that time really is precious. And I meet a lot of people who put life on hold. They put things on hold. They don't see time as valuable, or they think that they have time to do all these things that are on their vision boards. And I'm on your timeline today to challenge you, and maybe even put a rocket up somebody's bum, to remind you to do the things that you've always wanted to do today. Take those things off of hold. Stop putting your life on hold. Stop being afraid. Stop overthinking things. Begin to activate the life that you want today. Don't worry about what people are going to say about you. Don't worry about what the next person is doing. Don't worry if you're just starting now, or maybe you feel like you've been left behind. Just begin today. Today is all any of us are really promised. And without sounding morbid, none of us know when it's going to be time to check out. None of us know when our curtains are going to fall, or none of us know when our souls are going to be required of us. So today, begin today, do that thing today, make that call today, send that email today. And I want to share with you some personal stories that I hope are going to inspire you and maybe get you to begin to think about your own situation and how you can change it by making the most of the time you have today. When I was 17 years old, I migrated from the country of my birth, Kenya, moved to the United Kingdom to study. I remember when I was leaving home, I didn't really want to leave. I just finished high school and I wanted to spend time with friends and family. But my mom found this opportunity and she said, you have to go. And I was really upset. And I remember going to my dad and saying, Dad, please, I don't want to go. And my dad said, for the sake of peace, just go. Go, make the most of the opportunity, and then come back. We're going to be here waiting for you. So I got on the flight and I left. But we hadn't really factored in that I needed to do a foundational year before I went into university. So it kind of stretched the time out a bit. But hey, you know, life happens. So we went with the flow. And when I was doing my foundational course at college, it was an IT course. And at the time, my father fell ill towards the end of my course. I was just about to finish and then going to university, and my father fell ill. And I remember thinking, I need to go home. But my mom was like, no, you finish and then you come home. He's going to be here when you're done. And he was in hospital. My sister and I were in the UK. So my mom would call and say, your dad likes to hear from you guys. When you call, he feels better. You know, he comes alive. So make sure you call him and speak to him. And so my sister and I would call at different times. And I remember the final phone call that I had with him. And I remember telling him I loved him. And, you know, with African fathers, kind of go like, okay. And I remember telling him that we were going to come home, look after him. He'd taken care of us. And it was really mushy. I was really young at the time, but I'm glad that I did those things. And I had bought him 2 massive Father's Day cards because it was near Father's Day. And I'd written loads of mushy messages in there. And I thought, I'm not going to post them. I'm going to take them with me when I get on the plane. I just finished my last paper at college, handed in my paper. And I remember distinctly leaving the college through the revolving doors. And when I got to the revolving doors, I had a phone in my hand. And I had got a text alert. And I looked at the text message and it says, oh, Dad has gone. And initially I was like, gone? What do you mean gone where? And it suddenly hit me that they were saying that your dad is no longer with us. And my life changed forever, completely. My paradigm about time and about life and about everything changed in that instant. And I was never the same again. And that was the beginning of my understanding about time. And I remember ever since then, I've always talked about time, the value of time. I hate putting things on hold. Let's just do it now. So fair enough, there might have been some psychological stuff in there, but it was also a genuine wake-up call to the fact that none of us really know when it's time to check out. We think we have time with our loved ones. We think we have time to do all these things, but nobody really knows. And so I became a huge advocate for time. And I remember I was doing an IT, information systems and management course at university. And after my dad was laid to rest, I was really, you know, introspective. I really thought about my life and what I wanted to do with my life. Did I really want to do IT? Did I really want to code? Because at uni, we were coding. I was using these languages and I was like, I hate coding, but I loved the creative stuff, which is something that I went on to do many years later, graphic design, web design, which I'm really, you know, really into. And sometimes I do it even for therapeutic purposes. But I remember thinking, do I really want to do IT? So I remember deferring my course and going to work full time. And also I needed to contribute to financial stuff back home because my father passed away. And so on that journey of self-discovery and really thinking about my time and what I wanted to do with it, I deferred the information systems and management course, and I found executive coaching through a lot of research and trial and error. But I found this thing that I thought, this is my calling. This is something that comes naturally to me. And so I completed my training, and I knew that this is what I wanted to do in different degrees or different capacities. That was my first wake-up call with time. And I lived my life knowing that I wanted to make an impact. Despite the fact that I had corporate jobs, I always had a view of setting up a consultancy that was going to make an impact in the world, working with leaders, etc., etc. And at the time when I finished my diploma in executive coaching and then went on to do other professional training, I was working a corporate job in the financial services industry. So I was straddling both corporate as well as setting up a business. So I was doing the 9 to 5 and running home and running my business. But I knew this was my dream. I was making the most of my time. I was capitalizing on my 24 hours and just making my dream come true. And in that space of time, I remember thinking that I need to build my business, take it to the next level. I need to begin to invest. I need to do all of these things. And I had all these grand dreams. And then life happened and I lost everything and I had to begin to build from scratch. So that kind of put a dampener on my life. But I was still very conscious about time. How much time do I have left to rebuild and all of that stuff? And through this depression time, I remember thinking, how do I come out of this dark hole and make the most of this 24 hours, every single 24 hours I had? So life happened, and I understand that life happens. And even in encouraging you, I know that life happens for you as well. But still be conscious of time, because we just never really know. And in 2016, I was still straddling my corporate job and running my consultancy, and they were both doing okay. But I knew something needed to give. I needed to let go of corporate to take my business to the next level. But I was dilly-dallying because, you know, corporate paid well. My sister passed away in 2016, my older sister. We were born a year apart. And it was another huge wake-up call. Despite the fact that I had grieved my dad, grieving my sister was a completely different ball game. It floored me. I remember not even being able to leave my bed for months, and even the house for months. But I weathered that storm, and it was a huge wake-up call about what I wanted to do with my time again. I was straddling corporate as well as my consultancy, and I knew that I needed to let go of corporate, and I did. It was a huge leap. It was a scary leap, but I did it because I thought, time, girl. Noreen, you think you have time? You don't really have time. My sister and I used to joke a lot about, you'll come and babysit my kids. You're going to do my makeup, my hair. She was very stylish, and I thought, you're going to dress me. You're going to come and do my wedding. So we always had these dreams, and we played about these things, but it was never to be because time. And that was a catalyst for me to take the final leap, leave corporate and focus on my consultancy full time. Was it scary? Of course it was. And but it has taught me a lot. It allowed me to free myself from a lot of burdens that I had been carrying for many years. And it pushed me into a new life that I began to explore and become a completely different person. And it gave me a new appreciation for time. And then very recently, I took a trip to Kenya. It was a business trip. And I remember saying goodbye to my family because I needed to return to the UK, kissing them goodbye. I'm going to see you later. I miss you already, etc. Laugh, laugh, laugh. And got to the airport, got into the plane, really tired, slept immediately. I got in on my seat, woke up about an hour to landing time and thinking, I'm going to message him as soon as I get to the airport. And I did. And I remember my sister saying, I'm glad you arrived safely because I'm watching breaking news and a flight from Addis Ababa to Nairobi didn't make it. Everybody passed away. The flight crashed and all lives have been lost. Another huge wake-up call. I know I wasn't a passenger, but I'm a frequent traveler, so I understand the possibilities of losing somebody or being the person that left behind things that were not completed. So I'm here on your timeline to urge you to think about time, to think about your life, to think about your dreams and your goals, and stop putting them on hold. Make the most of the time you have today, because really, you know, like I said earlier, without being morbid, we don't really know when checkout time is going to be. We don't really know when our souls are going to be required of us. And so this moment is all you have. So please think about it. Think about your life. Think about your goals. Think about your dreams and make them happen. Take care.